This is the Frat House Sports Show. And now for this week's completely different and humorous perspective on everything sports, here's Frat House Mike and Sidekick.
Well, here we go. It's our 129th straight edition of the Frat House Sports Show coming to you right here from Frat House. No Daytona. No Sidekick this evening as he's down in Daytona.
That's what it is.
He just landed. In fact, we got it up on Facebook. It had to be about an hour and a half ago.
Yeah, we
landed,
touchdown.
and he's bragging already over on Facebook. 80 degrees. Boom. There's 80 degrees. Listen, we can all hate on Sidekick for the entire show. It's okay with me. You listen to Sidekick, we're going to hate on you the whole show because you're not here to defend yourself. There you go. But, hey, we are going to do some sports. So get a load of this lineup, huh? Yeah, it's February. We got the waning days of the Olympics. We got just a couple of days left of this. We've got NASCAR with the 500, I guess really officially kicking off tonight, really, with the duels. They're going on behind me over here, right? And we're even going to talk a little Major League Baseball as spring training kicked up for all of the teams. I guess really in full force. I guess really a couple of days ago. And our MLB chat this evening is going to be brought to you by our friends over at CLW83. Go over there, please. CLW83.com. And make sure that you give all of their programming a look-see and a listen. And, well, listen, who should be bringing our baseball chat to us better than anybody else? But how about the host of CLW83's own show, Touch 'em All? And we got bringing our buddy in, Jim Williams. Jim?
M&M, how's it going? The show has never been better. What a perfect start to this show without Sidekick.
Now that's what we like, the sound of the voice.
There we go.
That's this man right
There
here.
we go.
This man right here.
Right.
And you'll like the sound of the voice. Well, we miss you, Sidekick. Don't worry.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Jim,
No further
thanks
comment.
for joining us,
We're
buddy.
just hating on
guys.
Sidekick tonight. All right. Down there in Daytona, and we're sitting here going to talk a little baseball.
We got a polar vortex for you, Sidekick. You just wait.
It's funny because, on a day, Jim, and you and I are both kind of comrades in Philly sports. On a day when the Philadelphia 76ers virtually erased themselves off the face of the earth, we're going to be talking a little bit of Phillies baseball as well. Real quick, what do you make of all that Sixers move?
I don't know if you guys frequent a website called zoowithroy.com. It's one of my favorite blogs on the web. It's all about primarily the Phillies and what have you, but he goes into Philadelphia sports at large. For years, he had this little MS Paint doodle of what the Sixers' new mascot should be. And it was like a variation of like a cross between Gonzo from the Muppets and one of those lottery ball machines. And it was affectionately called Tanky McLotto. They have officially Tanky McLotto the season.
Mm-hmm. Yep, you're not kidding about that one.
Yeah, they've opened up cap space.
We're going to talk about that one a little bit later in the show.
Oh, brother.
Listen, we're going to break this down to basically two teams. It's not that we're being homers or anything or being regional, but it's just that really the two most interesting teams, and I guess maybe really the past couple of weeks have been the New York Yankees and the Philadelphia Phillies. And let's kick it off. Derek Jeter, we talked a little bit about it last week right here on this show. His announcing that, in fact, he will be retiring at the end of this season. He announced it over on Facebook, interestingly enough. And we made the comment here, Jim, that we kind of felt that it was nice that Jeter's not going to have to compete against A-Rod this year.
Well, I think the timing of things is very unique. I mean, we're going to talk about the other aspects of the Yankees' recent offseason in a couple of moments, but think about the timing of Jeter's announcement. After Alex Rodriguez decided to do as much public relations spin as he possibly could, and also after a signing of a big acquisition, it's very interesting timing, to say the least, guys. But I have no problem with Jeter making the move and retiring as such. And people are looking for somebody who's going to hate on Jeter and say this is a horrible move, and he's doing it for the glory. And I'm not going to be that guy. I'm a fan of his.
Mike, if I may, the guy's a character guy, and I think no matter who you root for, if you're a good sport guy, you recognize a good athlete guy who's a good sport, and I think he's one of them. And I mean, just from that standpoint of good character, you'd like to see the guy go out the right way.
Right. Jim, let me jump over to something you just said there, and that's talking about the timing of it. Because I asked a question to Sidekick last week. Do you think that, in fact, Jeter would not have made this announcement had Alex Rodriguez continued to be on the team?
I don't know. I mean, part of me thinks that Jeter decided to do what he did, obviously because he knows he can't be the same player that he was pre that, I think it was 2012 postseason injury where he literally collapsed under his own foot after trying to make a double play. But the Alex Rodriguez ankle, I think there's something to that. I really think there is. I can't quantify or qualify it specifically, but I think he might have something there. Interesting.
Now, let's talk about the Alex Rodriguez situation. And I know you probably have a lot to say about it, but let's start it off right here. Did it come as a surprise to you that he dropped the lawsuit? Because I got to be honest, it did to me.
Yes and no. In one respect, here's a guy who has historically stuck to his guns, stuck his chest out on the line for all that he believes in because, well, let's not mince words, he is an egotistical son of a gun. He will stick to whatever his own mind tells him to believe. But somebody must have gotten into his head and said, Alex, think big picture here. You are ruining your life after baseball. He may want to be a broadcaster. I don't know anybody who would hire him. He may want to be a manager. Again, I don't know anybody who would hire him. But going after the sport and the association that helped make you what you are, that does long-term, dare I say, irreparable damage. So he's trying to do as much PR spin as he possibly can at this point in time to save face. And I don't think he can.
Will he ever wear a Yankees uniform again? And if not, will he ever wear a Major League Baseball uniform again?
We talked about this on the last Touch 'Em All podcast back in January. We had a difference of opinions. I'm inclined to believe he will never play in the majors again.
Wow.
I don't think anybody is willing to take a chance on that kind of ego and that kind of personality, let's say. Nobody questions that when healthy, he's one of the best players in the game. I don't think many people question that, but keep in mind, he's getting in that 40, 41-year-old territory. His skills are going to be diminished. He's not going to be what he once was. Ultimately, I believe you're going to see, like a Canseco, like a Ricky Henderson, he's going to play independent ball or minor league ball to try to prove himself worthy and try to get his credentials back and say, hey, I'm willing to do this. I'm a changed man.
Yeah.
Bring me back aboard. But I don't think he'll ever play in the majors again.
How about that one? And one more that we got to touch on, I guess, with the Yankees. Another reason that so many of us, I guess, kind of hate the Yankees. 7 years, $155 million to a Nippon pitcher, Tanaka. What's your read on this one?
Well, it's interesting. I mean, the Yankees, this is a typical Yankee move.
Yep.
Go for the big name foreign-born player, and they've done this in the past. Remember Hideki Irabu, ladies and gentlemen? Remember how well that went? Exactly. Didn't go too well. It's a calculated risk. It absolutely is. Yep. His numbers, and you have them in front of you, he was, I think, 24-0, and ERA in the 1.4 range. But again, that's a little bit misleading on two fronts. Number one, the Nippon League is high AA, low AAA equivalent, if you want to put a baseline on it to where it is compared to Major League Baseball. It's something like this. That's one thing. And plus, he was pitching once a week. He's now with the big boys in the States and North America. He's going to have to pitch twice a week, every 5 days. That's going to take some getting used to. And they paid this money to a guy who is ultimately going to be a third or fourth starter in this Yankees rotation. Nobody in their right mind expects him to go 24-0 again with an ERA sub 2. That would be ridiculous. That would be ludicrous. And I will eat kibbles and bits on a future edition if you bring me back on if he does that in the majors. Okay?
I'd say,
and I don't even know the dog or a cat. Okay?
Well,
I will buy the bag and I will do that. No, I won't. No, I won't.
I'll tell you what. Here's what they're hoping to get from this guy, and they're throwing all kinds of money at him because that's the Yankee way. But let's get it straight. This guy's maybe like one and done for them. What they're looking for is what we used to know back in the 80s as a Banaka blast. Well, the Yankees are going for a Tanaka blast. And yeah, he's going to see some additional, more frequent action. But this guy behind the plate might be just enough to get them rolling, get everybody forgetting about Alex Rodriguez, because let's get it straight. Alex Rodriguez is not done talking to the media, even though he might be done with the lawsuit.
So he's got his best friend Mike Francesa as a puppet for him.
Quietly.
You go to Mike there on the fan in New York.
So you have Tanaka.
Alex, what are you going to say about this? And then he'll just spill his guts.
Well, Tanaka, it seems to me, Jim, perhaps based upon what you're saying, perhaps maybe we could see a little early success, but as teams get used to him, it might start to be a little more realistic.
Tanaka blast. We'll see.
Well, it's an absolute wild card. You don't know what you're going to get. Is he going to be the next Hideo Nomo? Maybe. Is he going to be the next Yu Darvish? Maybe. Let's just let it unfold. And by the way, to those in the media who are making a big deal about, I can't run a mile. Who cares? Okay? Yeah. Who cares about a pitcher running a mile? Let's see what his splitter is. Let's see what his changeup and his fastball is. That's what matters when you're a pitcher, okay?
Agreed. Absolutely. Talking about, though, what was the phrase you just used with regard to Tanaka? It kind of applies as well to A.J. Burnett over with the Philadelphia Phillies. 1 year, $16 million for a guy that was, well, let's get it straight, he was retired. He was planning on spending the summertime with his family. And $16 million he's playing right now down in Clearwater. I mean, listen, he had the best ERA he's ever had in his entire career last year with the Pittsburgh Pirates, but he was 10-11.
That's his career thus far, isn't it? He's about 500, isn't he, A.J. Burnett? I mean, he's not really a winner. Yeah. I don't think he's a winning guy if he's only, he's 403.80. I mean, that works out right. I mean, there's something like that. Yeah. I mean, I'm not exactly sure his numbers, but I'm in the right ballpark. He's half and half.
Is this another bad move on the part of Raj?
You mean ruin tomorrow, Junior, not ruin tomorrow, Junior.
Get it right,
man. You gotta get facts right, my friend. I was initially saying this was a bad move because of the $16 million mainly, and because, he's 37 years of age. But I've kind of recanted that a little bit because he's made $16 million each of the last 5 seasons with the Yankees and the Pittsburgh Pirates. I would be willing to say he was a big part of the reason why, the Pirates, from the pitching aspect, got to the postseason. He mentored the younger pitchers, and he did his role. He wasn't supposed to be the ace of the squad. He was a third, fourth starter. That's what he's going to be here in Philadelphia.
Right.
There's an option for a second year, and because Hamels is going to miss action early on this season, they kind of had no choice but to make this move, so I guess I'm okay with it. Of the moves Amaro has made in this offseason, this is the least questionable of them. I'll put it that way.
Interesting. You don't think the Phils would have made this move had Hamels stayed healthy?
I'm knowing Ruin. I keep wanting to call him Ruin Tomorrow Jr. I must be professional. Yeah, right. Ruben Amaro Jr., knowing him like I do, which I don't, he probably still would have made the move, but this just expedited the process.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, I think they were going to do it anyhow.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's Philadelphia Phillies speak. I think they realized just as it was happening how it was going to be media perceived. But I tend to believe that no, they probably wouldn't have. But for knowing that Hamels was going to be. Listen, we haven't even started spring training and the guy's already announcing, I'm not going to be ready first day of the season. That's usually not good to know.
Well, what are you talking about?
From a squad standpoint.
Right.
So, and remember, the Phillies do have one other pitcher on standby in the broadcast booth in Jamie Moyer.
Right. We just dust him off and bring him out. How about that one? Yeah, that's good.
Hey, I wouldn't put it past him.
Right.
Wouldn't put it past him.
How about
real quick, Spike wanted to say hello to everybody. We didn't want you to think we didn't know. He's a real good sports guy too, but we're going to let him go over there.
tell you,
Right. Matches my polo. That's nice.
Hey, listen, Frat House way.
let's go over and talk about everybody's favorite drug-addicted catcher.
Boy.
How about that one?
Here it comes.
Carlos,
Don't do that. Come on. What do you got against Chooch?
Carlos Ruiz last year started out the season with a 25-game suspension for the use of Adderall in the 2012 season. A career 2012 season, by the way, where he hit 325, 16 home runs, and 68 RBIs. It was announced yesterday that our catcher here, well, he's been given an exemption from the ban on Adderall. He's A-OK to do it. I would imagine all of us here in Philadelphia are probably thrilled.
We need all the help we can get right now on this offense. Are you kidding me? When the leading part of this offense is Dominic Brown, we got problems.
Yeah, you're right.
And Dominic Brown's going to be questionable. Let's see if he can put together 2 consecutive seasons of solid offense. I have faith in him, don't get me wrong. To the Ruiz thing, we went back and forth on this before we went to recording this evening. On the list of banned substances, one list that changes about as often as most people change their clothes on a given day, Adderall is way, way down on the bottom. It's not like Chooch is shooting up with the HGH. It's not like he's doing what Rodriguez was doing and taking needles up the buttocks from a guy in South Florida who has a biogenetic lab. It's something readily available by prescription. He just did not make sure the proper people knew about things. So, you know what? Whatever happens, happens, I say.
Yeah, I hear you on it. I hear you. All right, let's take a look at, and we were talking about this one pre-show as well. I remember the 1983 Philadelphia Phillies quite well.
I bet you do.
It was the remnants of that 1980 championship year. And there's been a lot of reference made to the fact that, hey, could this 2014 team be very similar to that 1983 team? Where are you coming in on that one? Of course, the 2014 team basically has the remnants of our 2008 team, which won a championship. So, are there similarities?
Wheeze Kids 2.0, not as old, not as talented. Let me break down the starting lineup for you here. I have it courtesy of rotochamp.com. This could obviously change because, well, these guys are old and they could break bones. Ben Revere in the outfield, 25, he'll turn 26. J-Roll, 35. Utley, 35, with knees of a 95-year-old. Ryan Howard, 34. Dominic Brown will be 27 in September. Marlon Bird will turn 37 in August. Chooch, 35. Don't know how old with the Adderall. We'll see about that. And the youngest player of the starting lineup will be Cody Ashe. He's 23. But wait, there's more. Hamels has turned 30 this year. Cliff Lee will be 36 in August. A.J. Burnett, we mentioned 37. Special K, as I call him, Kyle Kendrick, 30 years old in August.
Wow.
If Gonzalez is the 5th starter, that'll bring the mean down a little bit. He's going to be 28, but of course, if Jamie Moyer comes out of the booth, forget it, he's 175.
Right.
The relievers are old. I just don't know if it's going to gel. I don't think so. I mean, one of the big things that we've been hearing about in Philadelphia over the last week or two, guys, is Ryan Howard has slimmed down, and he has told everybody he's going to play 162 games.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, that's great. If he gets into 130 games, I'll be impressed.
Agreed. Real quick, who do you see coming out of the East? Would the favorite I haven't looked at the odds, but would the favorite absolutely be Washington?
I don't think so. I think you're overlooking a team
Atlanta?
that many people overlooked. Exactly, the Atlanta Braves. And we'll talk about it on the next edition of Touch 'Em All. Look at the segue, kids.
Well, we'll bring it back and talk about it, too.
We'll get to that in a second, yeah. But I think the Braves are the team to beat, not just for this year, but for the next few, because they have started to make the core be known to all of us by signing and re-signing at least a half a dozen different players. Freddie Gonzalez is back for a couple of years. Their GM's back for a couple of years. Hayward, Kimbrel, Freeman. This is a team that I'm telling you, they're going to be on a division dynasty very soon, not unlike what they did in the 90s. They're going to string a couple of division championships at least in a row together.
Phil's third or fourth?
Does it really matter when you get to that question? I mean, I know.
Well, simply for pride, because it's against the Mets.
Well, the M_TSs. They can't afford the vowel. If you're going to hold me at gunpoint, I'm going to say they're going to be third, but they're going to lose 90 games this season. The Phillies are going to lose 90.
All right.
And hopefully Ruben Amaro Jr. loses his job. So
we will get you back in, Jim, just before the season starts in April. So we'll get you back on in the next couple of weeks. I appreciate you being here. And we appreciate as well all of the support from CLW83 to our program here. We thank you, and we thank Carl and the good folks over there.
Good deal. Thank you so much, gentlemen. Always a pleasure, and always a pleasure to be on without Sidekick.
Oh, there we go. All right, Jim, catch you soon. All right, thanks again to Jim. It's always a joy to have
Yeah, he's fun. He's fun. He really is.
Yep.
He knows his stuff.
He sure does. And we'll get Jim back in here, as I pointed out, just before the season starts, and we'll go through all the different divisions at that point. But we got to get to our top stories of the week. There you go. And we're going to kick it off with the Philadelphia 76ers. And we're going to talk just real quick because, well, just this afternoon, things kind of changed quite a bit for the Philadelphia 76ers.
Wheels are off the bus.
Yeah, well, if they weren't already before, at 15-40.
Holy nightmare.
It has been. It's actually been openly discussed that the Philadelphia 76ers were purposefully tanking the season in order to assure themselves one of the top 5 draft picks coming up later on in the year. Now, of course, we've got a new NBA commissioner, and that's Adam Silver. He spoke to the media on Saturday, of course, down in New Orleans. That was during all of the festivities for the All-Star game. And he was asked by some of the media about the Sixers. And they're not the only ones. There are other teams right now that are following a similar tactic. To which Mr. Silver's response was, quote, "My understanding of tanking would be losing games on purpose, and there's absolutely no evidence that any team in the NBA has ever lost a single game, or certainly in any time that I've been in the league. If there was any indication whatsoever that players or coaches were doing this, and that they were absolutely trying to lose a game, you can bet we would be all over that. But I don't believe for a second that's going on." Oh, dear God. By the way, this is a league that in the past, and just in the recent past, in fact, it was during last season, this is a league that has actually fined teams for not playing their star players. So how on one hand you can have comments being made like this, which sounds so stupidly naive.
There's something screwy around here.
Ever. No team has ever done this.
Under his tenure, he did say that.
He spent 15 years, I believe, under.
No, I'm just saying, he's the new boss in town, and I think maybe there's a little, side speak there.
Oh, my gosh. This guy, I put up the comments the other day. And in fact, I actually wrote up a whole article. If you get over to our Frat House Sports
Read that.
website, there's a whole article on how disgraceful this Sixers team really is. And when I say disgraceful, I don't mean from the standpoint of the fact that they're just playing poorly, but it's in the manner in which that they are conducting themselves this season that I have applied that disgraceful kind of tag to them. Well, things got even a little more interesting today as they virtually, they traded away almost their entire team. Now, mind you, they stocked up pretty nicely on
draft picks. A lot of second rounders.
A lot of second rounders lined up. But incredibly, how can one say that they're not tanking when you see a day like today, and here it is, it's the trade deadline, and almost every one of your players is gone.
Well, it makes it really hard for the Philadelphia fans right now, because if I'm paying top dollar, I don't want to see a team that is getting paid to learn while they earn. Come on, no. You should already know this game. So I agree with you. That's a real tough one. That's a bad story here in Philly. Maybe next year, better.
Adam Silver, though. What ridiculous comments.
We'll see.
Let's go over and take a look real quick at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We kind of threw this one in for kind of just for fun of it.
John Gruden's calling plays. You know what he's calling? He's calling Spider 2. Bones Bandana is out of here.
It was announced the other day that after 17 years, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers would unveil a new logo design as of today. And we were really kind of hoping that it would have been unveiled by Showtime. But apparently it was all scheduled. It was a big media thing. They scheduled it that Warren Sapp apparently is supposed to come out with the announcement
there you go.
at 8 o'clock on the NFL Network, and he's going to do the major unveiling. But here at Frat House Sports, I want you to know, we do our homework. And we dug and we dug and we dug, and we were able to get...
We found it.
We were able to get a picture of the new logo.
We found it.
There it is. I think it's very, very attractive. What do you think, huh?
Well, you know what's nice about this? It has such a sort of, I don't know, old school football. It's got sort of a familiar feel to me.
I
really like this.
I like the orange, too.
I'll tell you what, from considering where they're located and all of that, I mean, that's a good-looking helmet right there.
I think so.
I think, nice job. Nice job by Tampa Bay. I think it's going to make all the difference.
Let's go talk about another football team that has a little splash of orange in it. And how about those Miami Dolphins? The NFL investigator Ted Wells, who was brought in by Goodell to investigate the Richie Incognito, Jonathan Martin mess, which has taken months and months and months, far, far too long. And the other thing that was far, far too long was the report that Wells released. How about 144 pages? He's releasing this. My first question is, really? 144 pages on this?
He should have been made to tweet it. He would have been removed down to 140 characters.
Exactly. I like that idea. Now, it was thought prior to the report actually coming out, there was some speculation based on, well, I guess some comments from people like Jonathan Martin and then some comments then from Richie Incognito, like leading up to the report being released. There was some speculation that Richie Incognito would be vindicated in this, but in fact, it was the complete opposite. The report started out by indicating that Jonathan Martin was, quote, subject to a pattern of harassment. And perhaps the most damning evidence that was presented, it was reported that after Martin left the team in October, Incognito boasted about, quote, unquote, breaking J-Mart. In a notebook that linemen used to tally fines and bonuses amongst themselves. When the investigation began, Incognito had asked a player to destroy the book, but investigators were actually able to obtain that.
Yep.
Belief now is that this is actually going to have some long-term effects on locker rooms across the league. Thoughts on any of what we saw there or what the repercussions might be in the future?
Well, absolutely. It's going to, this is what's unfortunate, I guess, about this is now this is going to force upon clubs that may not be, involved in a problem in their locker room in terms of bullying and that kind of non-diversification. It's going to force upon them code of conduct that they'll embrace. At the same time, is it going to prohibit this from going on? I don't believe so.
I don't know.
In our history, prohibition doesn't always work. At the same time, there's no winner in this. I mean, there is absolutely no winner. You can't name me a winner that comes out of this at all, including the league. And my sad, I guess, future, looking into a crystal ball, is that neither of these men will ever play Pro Bowl in the NFL again. That's not to say they may not find a pro or paying job in another situation of a league, but pro NFL ball, I don't think either is going to have survived. That everything is burned, and it all burned, ironically, in Twitter sphere. That's where it burned up.
Yep. All right, as I pointed out earlier in the show, we've got just, really, I guess we're counting down the hours now, really for the Olympics out in Sochi, the 22nd Winter Games. And, with all of the grief that I guess that Sochi has taken, and there's been some.
Yeah, there's been a lot.
They've done a pretty good job, I will say that, with the exception of occasionally seeing the grass springing up on some of the downhill skiing. But let's talk real quick about a little bit of ice hockey action, where we had some shocking things occur yesterday in the men's quarterfinals. where Russia lost to Finland 3-1. Highly, highly unexpected. I'm going to be turning to you in a moment here, Uncle Mark, because this is your area of expertise. But then the American men went on, and they did advance to the semifinals, beating the Czech Republic by a score of 5-2. And that sets us up for a Canada-USA match tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. That's going to be fun. That's going to be fun. And the flip side is going to be fun as well.
Right.
For the bronze medal. So, I mean, both are a compelling matchup. You got Sweden and Finland.
It's certainly setting up, though, for, a USA gold at this point?
Well, it's hard. Listen, I'm a USA guy. I want USA to win. So that being said, looking at it a little more logistically perspective rather than a fan, this is exactly what you want to see. You wanted to see these two teams match up at this level of competition. There's no two ways around it. You didn't want to see, well, speak for me, I didn't want to see USA go out before this or Canada go out before this round because these Final Four teams are the most compelling. We knew it going in because a lot of NHL influence and staying power. Staying power.
Real quick update on the ladies today. Unfortunately, the USA women lost in overtime, 3-2. I think that was a
that was a final in overtime.
Yeah, in overtime to Canada.
Yeah.
Canada takes the gold. USA women get the silver. Bronze went to
Switzerland, which is that's a miracle on ice moment for them in Switzerland. That gals club had no reason not to lose. They had no reason to be in the conversation of beating Sweden, and they did. That was a shocker. And
good for them.
Really, really good news for them. Yeah, I got it. Hats off.
All right. In other disappointments as well, continuing for the U.S., how about Bode Miller?
Didn't bode well for Bode Miller,
did not.
Did it? No.
Particularly yesterday, Thursday afternoon, the 36-year-old five-time Olympian, well, he announced that he would not participate in the slalom on Saturday. So in essence, he removed himself from competition, thus making yesterday's 19th place finish in the giant slalom probably his final in his Olympic career. Controversy also continued to surround 31-year-old Olympic hurdler Lolo Jones, who managed to get selected for the women's bobsled team to the team's third sled just about a month before the games began. Now, not only has this decision kind of been, debated, I guess, back and forth in the media, apparently there's also some dissension on the USA bobsled team as well. Following the team's 11th out of 19 place finish the other evening, Chuck Berkeley, a member of the four-man bobsled team, tweeted, quote, "Absolutely no doubt that Katie Eberling would have done better for USA 3. Hope the marketing dollars were worth it."
Woofama, owned.
I made the analogy. She apparently, unfortunately, has kind of become the Danica Patrick of the Olympics and of the USA team. I think not only in summer games, but also in the winter games. I don't know. I like Lolo Jones, and to me, I didn't have a problem with her selection on the team personally.
Well, no, I agree. I mean, she evidently was brought on sort of, like you say, Danica Patrick, maybe as a mascot. But the problem was she maybe couldn't carry the mail. And that's really what you got to do at this level. You got to be able to just go out there and compete and take the me out of it and just, put your best. You got to put your best from your country.
The best analysis I read on this run apparently yesterday or the day before where they ran 11th out of 19th.
Really wasn't
not her fault at all.
Really wasn't. It was really the pilot, right? The pilot took it on her own shoulders for what that's worth. And the pilot's not necessarily always the leader. I mean, the pilot is perceived to be the captain, but not always. I mean, it takes a team, especially in, so, I mean, Lolo did her job.
Yep, apparently so.
Yeah.
Let's take a look real quick, too, at the top 5 countries' medal count leaderboard.
Hey, look who's on top there. I can't believe it. How about that,
If you've been following us over on Facebook, you see this every single day because I update it every night.
Yep.
And yes, actually today, these are the results through today, Thursday,
which is
the
great.
20th. Yesterday, after activity yesterday on Wednesday the 19th, for the first time in these Olympics, the United States managed to get to the top of the board, and they stayed there today. So you got the United States, the Russian Federation, Netherlands, Norway, and Canada. I go back, though. I wrote the article up, and it's over on our FratHouseSports.net website article I wrote up about the age of this particular team, going back to what I was talking about on last
Another good
show.
read. You got to check it out.
But if you go and take a look at that Browns column, it's continuing to firm up my argument about the age of the American team, but also that silver, while the Americans have picked up a couple of extras, they still lag behind most of the other bigger countries who I said before, watch Russia and watch Canada in 4 years. Bank them. Bank them. They're going to be the teams, I think, to be watching in the future. All right?
Opportunity knocks for every country and might be silver.
And we've got Friday activity yet in the Olympics, and we've got Saturday activity, and then closing ceremonies are on Sunday. We got a couple other things coming up, though, on Sunday, don't we now?
Yeah, a couple.
We've got NASCAR coming.
Yeah, it's back. It's back.
And
that's where Sidekick is. Well, you already knew.
Yeah.
You already knew.
Your engine.
Yeah, that's what we're ready to hear.
Yeah, we know where he is.
Start
He's
your engine.
down in, boom, 80-degree Daytona.
Yes, he is.
But as I pointed out, the Daytona 500 really officially kicked off tonight with the Budweiser duels. Already one duel is down, and we've gotten the word that apparently
Yeah, it was Matt Kenseth.
has won that one.
Yep.
But our NASCAR chat this evening, all of it that we'll be bringing to you here this evening for a couple moments, brought to you by our friends over down in Baltimore, down at Herb FM Sports Radio. Check them out and check us out on their Saturday afternoons normally, usually about 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah, good guy.
Check
Always
our
puts
Facebook
us-
page to find out what time, because I put it up on there on Saturday.
He puts us up and broadcasts us. Yep.
Fantastic. I love the Daytona 500 because, while it's 2 weeks and it seems interminable until it gets here, because they start it. And
Yeah, and that can be said if you're a fan or you're a hater.
Yeah, true.
It's interminable.
True. But it always leads up so nicely, and there's a lot of anticipation this year. And I think there's a lot of anticipation coming from right here from Frat House Sports.
Oh, without a doubt. We're nutty about it. Yeah.
Now, we talked at length last week about team changes, about rule changes.
Yeah, changes.
One of the things that we haven't touched on is, and I think at least for me it's unprecedented, is this year's rookie class. It's one of the largest that I have seen probably in the 5 years that I've been following NASCAR. And I had pointed out to you, Uncle Mark, that one of these guys, or maybe a couple of these guys, could be an X factor in any given week, and most certainly as we move into the chase. And I thought perhaps what we might do this evening, take a look real quick at the 8 rookies that we've got coming in. 8. Let's start it off with Austin Dillon. This guy heralded a lot of hype about this guy, taking over the number 3, gets the pole for the Daytona 500. What else can you tell us about this guy?
Well, I'll tell you. I mean, he's got, obviously, he comes from the Royal.
I'm an excellent driver.
Yes,
there you go.
I might say that would be true. He's got an excellent position. He's got excellent bloodlines in the royalty of racing coming through with the Childress. There's speculation that he's going to do what he's done at the lower levels, and that is be possibly a rookie of the year, a true rookie of the year, in a very large field. You're right. I mean, there's 8 of them this year. And, I mean, interesting. He's coming to us in the number 3 car. Well, so completely and ever more known for Dale Earnhardt Sr. As really his favorite number that everyone remembers. This kid's got numbers that are bonkers. I mean, he's off the chart. He drove in the Truck Series for 2 years. His first year, he was Rookie of the Year. His next year, he was champion. The very following year from then, he went into and started running the Nationwide Series. First year, he's Rookie of the Year. Second year, he's the champion. The guy's numbers are tremendous. He's got a brother that's running in Nationwide, Ty Dillon.
Ty, yeah.
There is not enough good you can say about this kid. The hype is not a lot of bullshit. This guy's
not undeserved.
This guy's the real deal.
Right,
I mean, he's absolutely somebody to watch. He's had some sprint experience, and interestingly, in just 13 races, he's held the pole position 1 time already, and that's not including Sunday at Daytona. He's your pole sitter.
The other one that I don't know if I'm ranking these correctly, but the other one I think might be on the number 2 list, Kyle Larson. And when I think of Kyle Larson, the only thing that comes to my mind, 2 things actually. Number 1, last year was his first year, his rookie year in Nationwide. And the second thing that comes to my mind is that this is the way we got to be introduced to Kyle. In his debut race for Nationwide at Daytona.
Nobody's perfect.
And what a wreck this was. Portions of his car ended up in the grandstand. I remember the flaming engine over on the opposite side.
Right. And we remember, a Nationwide race last year down at Daytona that, where the car was destroyed. And fortunately, catch fences held, stanchions held. We didn't have that this year.
Well, that's what I always think of with Kyle Larson. But the other thing I'm thinking of, too, is, 1 year in Nationwide, that's it, and he makes the jump to sprint. Yeah. This guy's on the fast track.
Oh, absolutely right. And I'll tell you what, he's just 21 years of age. So it does speak to a couple of things that we've seen, and that's probably since, let's say, the Tony Stewart Rookie of the Year going forward in the 2000s, and that is young drivers with mad best equipment actually works. And Tony Stewart and Jeff Gordon started that trend where you saw rookies coming in and immediately finding success. And Kyle Larson's going to have his opportunity right now. He's going to be with Chip Ganassi this year. There was a vacancy left by Juan Pablo Montoya. As we know, he went back to the Formula. So that opened up a spot for Kyle. He had a real good, matter of fact, Rookie of the Year season last year with Nationwide. And it was a combination of right place, right time. He should be fun to watch, but he's a rookie. He's 21, so you are going to see this. But let's be honest, folks. At Daytona, you could see this with Jimmy Johnson. You could see this with, name him, Casey Kame. I mean, I'm not wishing, but this kind of wrecking does happen at that track.
You're mentioning age. Justin Allgaier, we don't have to talk about as being a youngster. He's at, 27, I believe?
Yeah, he's almost a journeyman, despite the fact he's going to be making his Sprint Cup
and in fact, when I mentioned it last night, I've seen this. This guy seems to have run every number, I think, on a racetrack. Justin Allgaier, Rookie of the Year? Yes? No? Maybe so?
Justin Allgaier, Rookie of the Year. No, I don't. Personally, I don't feel Justin Allgaier that way. I think Justin Allgaier is making the correct move in the appropriate order. He's cut his teeth in NASCAR, approximately 5 years with ARCA. He ran 4-5 years with Nationwide. He's cut his teeth. He's moved up. Is he a splashy winner? Is he going to be consistently your top 10 guy? He could develop into that, certainly. But out of the gate, what Justin Allgaier is going to do is bring his experience because he does know the sprint circuit pretty well.
Right.
And at 28, he's a reasonably mature guy. Last year, 2013, he finished 5 in Nationwide as total points. So, I mean, he can drive, and he's a good journeyman. Yeah. He's a good journeyman. He's exciting, and does he have fantasy value? For me, absolutely. I'm going to consider Allgaier when I'm making my fantasy picks as we go through the year.
Parker Kligerman, a name that I frequently kind of make synonymous with Starting Park because it seems like every time I had him on a fantasy team, that's what he did. He parked.
Yeah, right. You're absolutely
He's not parking this year. He's running full time. What do we got on Kligerman?
Well, I'll tell you what. He's from the East Coast. He's one of the few that's right here with us. He's actually a Yankee coming from Westport, Connecticut originally. He's run developmentally. That's basically his bread and butter. However, he's got about 100 races combined between the World Camping Truck Series and Nationwide. And I'll be honest with you, he's very, very consistently good for the few that he's had. I mean, he's got 25 top 10s, he's got 18 top 10s, I mean, collectively almost 50 top 10s in the two. Mm-hmm. And that's 100 races combined. And you're giving the guy 50 top 10s. This kid can be a winner. He's just 23 years of age. He's going to be running with Swan Racing. And he's going to join one of the other 4 rookies that we're going to be talking in the conversation. That would be, let's go to a Cole Witt. Okay, right. Another rookie in the same class, and he too is running in Swan Racing. That is an expansion of their team. Cole Witt does not have near, I'm not going to say he doesn't have the skill, he doesn't have the experience per se, I don't believe at this level, but Cole Witt stands a good chance to get Swan Racing going in the right direction as a second car.
Right.
Is he a great bet? Yeah, on certain tracks. Cole Witt can drive. He's just 22 also. So you got to remember some of these kids are coming up. And you're going to know their names next year, the year after.
Right.
The year after. You'll be naming them like we name today's top 10 in NASCAR. Harvick, Earnhardt Jr., name them. Tony Stewart. We can list them. Some of these names we're going to see.
You're going to remember.
Witt's going to be one of them.
Yeah. Well, now, of the four that's remaining, and you just mentioned Cole Witt,
right?
One of the names that should jump off the list here is Ryan Truex. Of course, that's the younger brother of Martin Truex. But then we got Annette in there, and we've got Alex Bowman. We kind of threw him on there. I guess you would put them in there as kind of the sub-4.
Yeah, these are our guys that are going to fill out the field.
Yep.
Who do I like? I'm just putting my notes back together here. I mean, Ryan Truex, we know him to be brother of two-time nationwide champ Martin Truex. Martin Truex is a story in himself, as we know, and he's running in the one-man team, which is Front Row Racing, and he's running right next to Austin Dillon to start on that front line from Daytona. So Martin Truex, we know, already has God-given ability. We're hoping Ryan does too. He's very young, also just 21 years of age. He did a lot of developmental driving also back with Michael Waltrip Racing when he was running as a student. He's had some injuries. He's had some sponsorship issues. But basically, this is going to be his first time going. BK Racing running in the number 83. We'll see. We'll see. I mean, he comes from the right stock. Does he have the right equipment? That's going to be the question. I think now he might with BK. And if he stays injury-free and he can run all the races, he's not going to start in park either. We should probably see Truex brothers sort of like the Busch brothers.
Interesting. All right. Well, there you have it. Big rookie class.
A lot of fun.
You're going to be introduced to in just a couple of days down there in Daytona. And speaking of Daytona, we've been talking about it. Comes up on Sunday. Coverage begins 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern time on Fox. So you can bet we will all be right there at glued.
I can't wait. We got
that kind of leads us into, we don't have Sidekick here.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
He's not here. Did you notice? Did anybody notice the Sidekick's not here?
Have we looked?
Yeah. But we have his Sidekick fantasy picks, and you're going to be bringing those to us.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Actually, I do.
We're going to do the Karnak routine? Yes.
Actually, I do for Daytona. Now, here's what I want to tell you, folks. Sidekick did send us this, but he sent us an IM. So we got it. And Sidekick made the picks in his inimitable style, which I can't even possibly replicate here for you. And his reasoning, which of course, let's be honest, Sidekick makes his picks for a reason. So here's what we're going to do.
And we can't replicate his reasoning either sometimes.
So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to put the full text up. We'll get it up there for everybody to read. Sidekick
It'll be on the Facebook page.
In his own text so you can read why he picked, who he picked. But I am going to share his picks for you.
There we go.
At Daytona, and the number 1 pick at Daytona is the number 3 car, Austin Dillon. Austin Dillon, rookie. Now he's coming in at a modestly nice price of
for a rookie,
of just $20. Okay, you got the $100 limit, so there's 20 of it right there for Austin Dillon, and this could be coming from the poll. Very good. Matt Kenseth, the number 20 car, is Sidekick's pick for $27.75. Then he's going to go out, and I agree with this pick, the number 88, Dale Jr., coming back this year, should have, hopefully, a better year than last year, just $27. The number 47, AJ Allmendinger, give me a dinger. Can I get a dinger?
Yep.
We're giving you a dinger for $17. And the final pick, number 32, Terry Labonte, for $7.50. So he's not at the bottom, folks.
There we go.
Rounding out Sidekicks. Ledger at $99.25. Good job.
And the best part about
this. Make note
this,
of the picks, folks, because this is the first race, and we got 35 after.
The best part about this too is that next week when we put up the fantasy leaderboard, you're going to be able to see exactly how Sidekick spoilers did with those particular picks for this week.
And I got to be honest,
how that did against the field.
I like some of those. I might have ideas. I don't know. Maybe you have ideas. Right?
All right. There's our NASCAR chat for this week. Many thanks to our friends over at Herb FM Sports, www.herbfm.com. Get over there and check them out.
Absolutely.
And talking fantasy real quick before I completely get out of NASCAR. Hey, folks, you still have a couple of days, just a couple of days to jump in with us. You've heard us talk the fantasy stuff. Jump in our Frat House Sports NASCAR Fantasy League. Get over to our Facebook page, give us a like there, and then leave us a message, give us a comment. In the next couple of days, we'll make sure you get an invite to it.
We only have, several spots left, right?
We've
got some openings. We're trying to fill it.
Yeah, we have some, but just a couple.
Well, that's the thing. We want to get up to our 25. So come on in, join us, and have fun, and then you'll understand
a whole bit of what we talk about here.
Absolutely.
And since I'm talking Facebook, how about we get to our Frat House Sports Facebook post of the week? And I don't need to revisit it too much, but it was a post that I put up about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers changing their logo. I didn't realize it. We must have a hell of a lot of Tampa Bay Buck fans.
Yeah, otherwise, people are really missing football already.
Really, because that got the most views, most activity.
Put up any football helmet, we're getting likes on it.
Yeah, really, we can put anything up there. But get over to our Facebook page. If you're not sure how to get there, go to Facebook and type in Frat House Sports. Three separate words.
1, 2, 3.
3 separate words, and you will find us and give us a like. All right? All right. And I've brought up our FratHouseSports.net webpage a couple of times this evening. Good content over there.
Yep.
A lot of new content that's been put up. We got the Olympics article. We got the one that I mentioned before that I put up about the 76ers. We got our countdown to Daytona. We got a poll going on over there. Who do you think is going to win the Daytona 500?
Vote on that. That's a great idea. Vote on that. Listen, you want to know the up-to-the-minute weather. We've got that.
We got the weather for Daytona.
What's going to happen?
And that's not just coming from Sidekick.
No, I was going to say we're verifying that he's not lying
exactly.
because we've got eyes on your Sidekick. Even though you're not here, we can see you and know what you did.
There it is.
Yeah. And don't forget, we've got the best thing in sports, swimsuit models. What I love about sports.
Thanks, Sidekick.
What I love about sports. Wait a second.
I thought we were missing Sidekick. We don't miss that Sidekick at all.
There, we got the other one, too. Oh, we got them all. We got them all.
We're sitting on top of the story of the century.
There it is.
Right now.
Okay.
Frat House way.
All right. Sidekick, get back here. I guess we need your help. Listen, in the meantime, enjoy your weekend. Enjoy the closing out of the Olympics. Enjoy the Daytona 500.
Let's go racing.
Boogity, boogity, boogity. And listen, keep us real, keep us live, keep us going.
Did I tell you? I knew he was going there. Didn't I tell you? You should
get the hell off the top of the railing. You little bastard, get down here.
That's pretty awesome,
Sit down!
I'm sitting. Oh, wait, wrong person. I'm sorry.
Will you get the hell down?
He got some laced catnip or something. Holy shit.
Some Andro in that catnip. My goodness.
He went from the bottom of the steps to the top in like half a second. And then went right up on top of the
Performance enhancing catnip. Okay.
We got, well.